Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back. If this message has found you today, trust that there may be something here your heart needs to hear. As always, take only what genuinely resonates with your situation and leave behind anything that doesn't. This reading is meant for reflection and emotional guidance, never as absolute certainty. The energy surrounding your connection feels very different now than it did before. Someone who once tried to keep their emotions under control is beginning to realize that what they feel for you isn't temporary. It isn't just fascination. It isn't simply attraction. Their heart is slowly recognizing that this connection carries much more meaning than they expected. For a long time, they may have convinced themselves that these feelings would eventually fade. They believed that with enough distractions or enough time, they would stop thinking about you. But that hasn't happened. Instead, your presence continues to find its way back into their mind. Sometimes it's through a memory, sometimes it's through a song, a place, or a random moment during the day. And each time, they're reminded that something about you feels different from anyone they've met before. What's changing isn't simply their emotions, it's their understanding of those emotions. They're beginning to see that you bring out a side of them that rarely comes to the surface. Around your energy, they imagine peace instead of chaos. They imagine honesty instead of games. They imagine comfort instead of uncertainty. That realization can feel overwhelming. Because when someone begins to understand that another person could genuinely matter to them, fear often appears alongside love. This person may be asking themselves difficult questions. What if I'm not ready? What if I ruin something special? What if I open my heart and it isn't enough? These aren't the thoughts of someone who doesn't care. They're the thoughts of someone whose feelings have become important. What's especially interesting is that this connection doesn't feel loud or dramatic. It feels quiet, steady, almost like a river that slowly carves its path through stone. The emotions are growing beneath the surface, even if very little is being shown outwardly. If you've noticed delays, silence, or hesitation, the energy suggests that this isn't necessarily a lack of feeling. Instead, it feels like someone who wants to understand themselves before making promises they can't keep. They don't want to approach you halfway. Deep down, they know you deserve sincerity. And because of that, they're taking their time. Sometimes people believe love should happen instantly. But some of the strongest relationships begin slowly. They begin with reflection, with personal growth, with two people learning who they truly are before they step toward each other. This person's heart is going through that process now. They're beginning to admire not only your appearance but your character. They notice the way you handle challenges, the kindness you show others, the strength you carry even when life isn't easy. There's something about your energy that feels genuine, and authenticity is becoming increasingly rare. That's one reason they can't seem to forget you. You leave an emotional impression that stays long after conversations end. Even your silence speaks to them. There are moments when they replay your interactions, wondering whether they missed something or whether they should have expressed themselves differently. Regret may also be present, not necessarily because of something dramatic, but because they realize they may not have appreciated the depth of this connection when it first appeared. Now they're beginning to see it with clearer eyes, and clarity often changes everything. This person is also learning an important lesson about vulnerability. In the past, protecting their heart may have felt safer than opening it. Keeping emotions hidden was easier than risking disappointment. But meeting you has challenged that belief. You've shown them, perhaps without even realizing it, that emotional safety exists, that someone can feel calming instead of confusing, supportive instead of unpredictable, reliable instead of uncertain. That changes people. It changes the way they think about love. It changes what they want for their future. They may even be imagining possibilities they never considered before. Simple moments, shared laughter, building a peaceful life together. Growing through life's challenges as partners instead of facing everything alone. These thoughts may still remain private, but they're becoming more frequent. The more they imagine a future, the more your presence naturally appears within it. That doesn't mean everything will happen overnight. Growth rarely works that way. This energy still feels patient. It still feels cautious. But caution shouldn't be mistaken for indifference. Sometimes the slowest hearts love the deepest because they don't give their emotions away easily. When they finally choose someone, they choose with intention. And that's the direction this energy appears to be moving. One step at a time, one realization after another. They're becoming emotionally honest with themselves. They're beginning to admit that you occupy a unique place in their heart. A place no one else seems able to replace. If you've been wondering whether you've been forgotten, this reading suggests otherwise. Your energy continues to linger. Your memory continues to inspire reflection. And your connection continues to evolve even in moments of physical distance. Sometimes the soul continues conversations that words never finish. That's exactly what this feels like. A quiet bond. A meaningful connection. One that's developing through patience rather than pressure. Whatever happens next will depend on free will, timing, communication, and the choices both of you make moving forward. But emotionally, something significant is unfolding. This person is no longer asking whether they feel something. They're beginning to understand how deeply they feel it. And that's a powerful difference. So if this message found its way to you today, perhaps the greatest reminder is this. Not every important transformation happens where everyone can see it. Some of the most meaningful changes happen silently, inside the heart. This connection feels like one of those quiet transformations. Slowly, steadily, naturally, a heart is opening. A perspective is changing. And someone is beginning to realize that your presence has become far more meaningful than they ever expected. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this reading resonated with your heart, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I always love hearing your experiences. Until next time, take care of yourself, trust your journey, and remember, the connections meant to teach us often arrive quietly before they reveal their true purpose.